Hey Will, I'm gonna record this real quick before I get dressed and head out. Um, this is gonna be a little bit of a stern topic because between all three of us, we do have a bad habit of jumping around, and this is the number one thing, um, number one pitfall to internet marketing. We do this, we might as well do nothing at all. We can't jump around. So, right now we just got Trello. We're working with timelines and trying to figure things out. We've just gotten our communication tools. And getting everything up to par with like promotions in the company, who's doing what, and just kind of different administrative stuff like that. So, what we're going to talk about now is sort of a very basic, very boiled down timeline and just kind of an overview, sort of objective view of what we're trying to do. Very basic. So, right here I have January. Load Hoot. This is what I want to get done in January. Loading Hootsuite. I'm going to work on that this weekend. Making changes to Adwords. I'm probably going to go ahead and make these changes this weekend or Monday. And then I also want to get the handout done, and I want to get it delivered. It shouldn't take more than 2 days to get all those places hit. And at the same time, this is also going to include, but it's not super dire. Is I'll just go ahead and put IE for whatever. Is the B2B book to CRM. Um, so that falls lowest on the totem pole, but it's not so hard. Might just take one extra weekend or something like that. We'll get it in there. But the most important thing is to finish the handout and order the handout, so that way we can actually get it out there. Um, this is just sort of an extra thing so that we're taking the entire company digital over this next year. So many things are going to change. This is it's doesn't really impact anything, but it's still what we want to do, and it's not so difficult. I've already done like 5 to 10 entries, so it's not so bad. And I'll learn more about the software as I continue to use it. So, um, January 1 or January in Q1, loading Hootsuite, making changes to AdWords, and deliver the B2B. And I know it's already day 11, but we're still pushing for all this stuff. We're pushing for this stuff. This is what we want to get done. And we might have stuff all over Trello and all these different things, but we got to make sure that we're not all over the place, because there's only so much that I can do. And the problem is, when people don't understand this digital stuff, they think it just happens. They hear the words like automation and all these different words that make it seem like this stuff happens overnight. It doesn't. Especially when you get into SEO. That is no joke. That's not something you can just, it's not like a plug you just plug into the wall and then there it goes. It's not, it doesn't operate like that. There's so many different angles, so many different strategies. There's so many people out there that will promise you, oh, we'll get you rank 1 and we'll get it in a week. And those people are crazy, because it very well may, some of the best guys in the world doing black hat might shoot you up to rank 1, but that doesn't mean it's going to last. So you gotta, you know what I mean? It's a heavy hitter thing. Okay, so this I want to get done January. February, we can get the website done in February. I believe that we can, because the website's not going to be overly complicated. It depends on what we're, when it comes down to like the booking widget and stuff. That could impact things. But here's the thing about SEO is that a lot of things are done on site, on the page. So it's kind of like, if we went and did all this ranking for the current website, and then we change the website entirely, all of that ranking could be affected. It might be like we get the current website um, up a couple spots, which really makes no difference because we're not going for up a couple spots. It makes no difference. We want number 1 or number 2. We want to be on the first page, and I'll show you some of the SERPs in just a second. Search engine results pages. It's kind of like it needs to be in this order, no matter what. Whether the website takes us 1 month or 2 months, it has to be in this order, because if we go and we do a bunch of SEO now and then make all the changes to the website, it's like pulling the rug out from under us. This is a massive thing. This is going to be one of the biggest things to impact business. We cannot joke around with this. We cannot jump around. We cannot do any kind of stuff like that. We have to rely on B2B covering us this quarter. And it will. It's going to open up a lot more business. I think this is plenty for Q1. I think it'll do. But this is not, SEO is not magic. It's not, you know what I mean? It's, are we going to do a PBN? Are we going to do, are we going to shop around for other, old URLs and old websites, and then link that traffic to our current website, And then you have to think about on-page SEO and off-page SEO. So if we go and we do a bunch of off-page SEO, we take a bunch, before we change the website, we go and we grab a bunch of links, or we create a PBN to basically point at the website and say, hey, our website is an authority for dog boarding Indianapolis. If we go point at our website saying that this website, not the URL, the actual website, we say this website is an authority. We go and we do that stuff, which takes a bunch of time. It's not overnight. It's not something you can just drop $10,000 on and boop, there you go. It doesn't work like that. It's a very complex thing. You have to go out and actually individualize a strategy. It's very individualized. So we go out there and instead of doing the website first, we go out there and we make all these strategies and do all these things, which is going to take a bunch of time in and of itself. It doesn't happen overnight. There's nothing quick that we can do. There is no shortcut for this. The only shortcuts you're going to find are extremely temporary, and we can't play any temporary ball here, because we want spot number 1 or number 2. We don't want spot number 10, even though it's on the front page. For this keyword. Yeah, this is only one keyword. This is the number 1 keyword for boarding, which is what we want to promote. So we're looking at this one now, which we're on page 3, and Zionsville Kennel is on page 2 in the middle, and then our actual competitor, Pet Palace, is page number 1. But there is no difference between page 2 and page 3, in my opinion, because it's all about spot 1, 2, and 3, and, the first page, right? So we don't want to, go and strategize and spend a whole month trying to move up 5 spots when it makes no difference. We do, a short-term strategy to move us up 5, and then we just lose a month. You know what I mean? When we could have and then we changed the entire website, and now all of our strategies that pointed to our old website, now we have no clue how they're going to affect our new website, because our new website has an entirely different layout. It's got entirely different text, entirely different software, and all kinds of different stuff. We can't focus on ranking our old website when we're about to crumple it up and throw it in the trash. We can't do it. It can't be done. We can't. It doesn't, and it doesn't matter anyways because we want spot number 1 or number 2. That's the only. That's our only option, you know, and that could take a bunch of time. How long has Pet Palace held that number 1 spot? That comes into play. All of these things come into play. Every single letter that you see comes into play, whether it's here in the meta and all the metadata and on the website, and there's keyword targeting. We're going to change all the keywords on the website, and we're going to be changing all kinds of things. This is we can't do it out of order. It can't be done. And that's just something that I have to come out and say, because if I don't come out and say it direct, then we're just going to hop around and play a bunch of games of hopscotch and be all over the place, and we're not going to get anything done. And it can't be done like that. We got to get the website done first, because we're ranking the website. And if we spend, a bunch of money and a bunch of time, your time, my time, Mel's time, and we spend it all on ranking the website that we're about to throw out, we just wasted so much time and money. We can't do it like that. It can't be done. So this is what we're going to try and do. This is the way it's got to be. And Trello, we're still working with that. I haven't gotten a chance to look into it, and we're going to sit down and do our thing today. But this is a basic idea of what we got to do, and we can't be bouncing around. And, I only have 2 hands. So this is what we're going to try and do. And the only thing that could set us back is the booking widget. And, it might come down to having to use a third-party page like Zionsville Kennel does. And they're already outranking us by an entire page. So it's looking like, January, we're going to get this stuff done. I want to make sure the B2B is out there, and we're because they were really excited about getting this stuff, and we've put a lot of really, thoughtful strategy into the handout. We're making it like a cookie, like you said, and it's really exciting. I think that this is going to do us a lot of good. And we're getting it done in January, and we can keep pushing it. Maybe more people will request more handouts, or something will come up, and we've got the rest of the quarter. It's going to push this quarter. I know it will. And then, we allocate February to getting the website done. We can get the website done. It's not going to be super complicated. It's just going to be really attractive and really simple. But for the time being, we are probably going to have to use a third-party booking page, which honestly, in my professional opinion as a web consultant, they're much sleeker and they're much more reliable, and they work a lot better than our current booking widget. I mean, we're constantly having problems, and it's very unattractive. It's just the way it is. I'm trying to shoot you as straight as I can. With the changes that I've made, the updates. I'm trying to shoot you as straight as I can so that we can actually hit a home run. So, if we go into, coding and finding a great deal and a great, if I bring on a programmer either through my IT guy's staffing company or someone I work with, or even getting into it and doing it myself, that's going to take time to code our own private, and we might as well push that to like Q3 probably, because we could use Q2 to do some more strategic like quicker stuff to boost things, so we're probably going to have to use a third-party page whether we like it or not, because they're sleek looking, they're reliable, and it works, and I have to look at how our current booking widget ties into our process architecture with what we got going at the front desk now. You know, I know it's scary, but this is something we got to do. This is something we got to do. We're talking about changing the entire website. So, you know, it's probably looking like this is something that we're going to have to do, is use a third-party page. That way we can get on to SEO by March, late February. Because it's just not realistic to say, okay, we'll use the last week in January and the first week in February to do some SEO. That makes no sense. That's not going to do anything. That won't get anything done whatsoever. SEO is massive. It is a massive, massive thing. It's basically, think of AdWords, only like much larger results for free. You know, it takes a ton of sweat equity. It takes individualized strategies, and it takes, you know, a website. It's all about the website. And if we use 2 weeks, which wouldn't get anything done regardless, 2 weeks to strategize how to rank a website we're about to throw out, that doesn't do us anything. Doesn't do us any good whatsoever. And I'm just trying to shoot you straight here. So this is looking like what we need to do. You know, and using a third-party page and working that into our current process architecture, that's going to be easier than if we just went in and recoded an entire, you know, new widget that's all ours and all our own to tie into new software. You know, we're going to do those things down the road, and working this into our current process architecture is going to, into our front desk architecture, is going to be much easier than, you know, what we're going to be doing down the road. So this is something we got to open up to, something we can't be afraid of, something we got to do. So, you know, January 1 is looking like this. With this guy, probably just on an extra day or weekend, I'll squeeze her in. We're talking about some hard work here. I've only got 2 hands, you know what I mean? So, February, this is huge. This is important, the website. But we can get a good-looking website. I've already purchased the theme, and I think the theme is really peeled back. It's really simple. It's something that no one else in the market is doing. They're not doing anything like this. It's kind of like a hybrid between large companies like Rover and, you know, local companies, which are our competition. So it's really cool, really peeled back. It's gonna be, you know, we can, as long as we use a third-party booking website like Zionsville Kennel does, we could probably get the website done in 1 month. That way, Q1, we can, you know, Q1 March 1st or the end of February, we can start focusing on SEO. I, in my professional opinion, think it's a terrible, terrible idea to jump around and think, you know, by the end of January, mid-February, we can have any kind of SEO results. Makes no sense. That's, anyone who's telling you that that is possible is lying. That is the big thing about SEO. When you go look at different SEO companies, and I'll look at the different guys, and I can find the ones that are not, they're all BSers. That's just the way they are. They promise rankings. No one understands the SEO, and it's all individualized anyway. But they'll promise you the stuff. It's just, it doesn't work like that. There are no shortcuts with SEO. A PBN is the #1 shortcut. That's the #1 shortcut that actually lasts a long time. And even that is really difficult. It's really individualized and takes a bunch of time. I mean, it involves making like 50 websites. You know what I mean? And actual, like, bunch of different software and different stuff. It's a task. But it pays off huge. So yes, we can probably get there in Q1, but you cannot expect results in Q1. That makes no sense. It's not, because we have to change the website first. We're ranking the website. And if we go and spend a bunch of money, whether we hire someone, a third party, or we do it in-house, we're ranking the website. And if we spend all this time and money between all three of us to rank a website that we're about to crumple up and throw away for a new website, we have no idea how that's going to affect rankings. We don't want to risk that kind of stuff. I mean, all the text on the website is going to change. All the keywords are going to change. The layout of the, I mean, Google, we're going to have to submit an entire new sitemap with Google. We're going to have the bots come back. We've got to get an SSL for the website, you know, and make sure it sticks. That way we're secure and always rank well with Google. There is no shortcuts. So that's the point of this video. Hopefully I'm not running over 15 minutes. Yeah, I'm at 20 minutes, so I ought to stop now, but then I got the car running. But yeah, I am desperately trying to convey to you that it just can't be done overnight. And if we try and do it, I mean, I can try and do some stuff. It's your world. Definitely, but I'm just trying to shoot you straight in my personal opinion. You know, I already knew this was already in the works. I already knew who our #1 competitor was, Pet Palace. And then Barkefellers, you know, they have, I think, 3 locations, so they're a big company. They got money, you know what I mean? But the thing is that our competitors probably are not attacking digital in the way that we're about to be, in the way we are now. So we've got a great opportunity. We can't mess it up by jumping around. And I'm sorry to take over. You know, I'm 5 minutes over, but it's really, really important that I get that across to you, because this is only one keyword. You know, a bunch of keywords I've already looked at, we don't even rank. They're like page 500 or something crazy. We can't play around with this stuff. We have to take it seriously. We can't jump around. We got to make changes to the website first, which can be done. That's actually a lot easier if we temporarily go with the third-party booking widget, which is smart. It just is smart, you know, and we're going to have to jump that hurdle. And it's just the way that it is, you know. And obviously, you know, I'm going to wait for your notes and everything, and I wanted to record this video before I left. That way you could watch it, and I'll give you a call here in a second. But it's imperative that we understand the sequence of things. These are the most important things that we have to work on. And you saw Zionsville Kennel was in the middle there, and we're in the middle on the 3rd page. It doesn't even make any difference if we're on the 3rd page or 2nd page. We're shooting for #1, #2 on as many keywords as we can get, especially the top keywords that have the most search volume. Okay, so, and all of this software, all software for everything is continually changing. Google is continually changing the rules, and each and every company is entirely different, has an entirely different, you know, reputation or repertoire, different references from social media, which are called social signals, have different. It's not a good idea to try and pour a bunch of money and do a bunch of random stuff and strategizing on SEO when the whole point of SEO is to rank the website, not the URL. It's not about the URL anymore. That was like 4 or 5 updates ago in Google that they changed that. That doesn't matter as much anymore. And Google's constantly changing rules. We don't want to do short-term shortcuts and stuff where we get dinged by Google's next update, and now all of a sudden we're not rank 1 anymore. We're rank, you know, 10 or back to 30. Right now we're at like rank 29 for this #1 keyword, which is good news. And local ranking is a lot easier than national ranking, such as, you know, if I was trying to rank a dog toy e-commerce website for the whole nation or for the whole planet, global. You know, so it's not a very smart idea to be jumping around, and let's just make sure that we don't do that, because this Q1 is important. We're gearing up, we're muscling up. Let's make sure that we stick to something similar to this, because these are our #1 goals. We can get Hootsuite done. We can make changes to AdWords because we make changes, and then we just monitor, um, and it's an important thing, but we can get that done. Um, and then the B2B, I mean, that should relieve a lot of pressure on Q1 to make changes and do better things. And we've got other tricks up our sleeves, like different signage and different other different grassroots stuff. That stuff is all that stuff is easier than digital stuff. Digital stuff is complicated because it's really competitive, and it's really complex. And each and every not only is each and every company different, not only does each and every company have an entirely different locale and repertoire, but they all have entirely different websites. And each page of each website is entirely different. Each page has to be optimized. SEO is no joke. It's the number one thing. It's more important than the software changes, in my opinion, because it contributes heavily to business. The software changes and stuff that we're going to be doing in-house, sure, that really impacts the day-to-day on the company, but as far as internet marketing, SEO is the name of the game. So we cannot take it lightly. There's no shortcuts. It's just the way that it is. So this is kind of like our timeline of what's most important, and I don't have many more hands than this. So I'm just trying to be objective minded. I want results, so I'm just trying to do the best I can. Sorry this is over 15 minutes, but I think this is an important point to make. That way we come correct. We make sure that we stick to a basic plan like this. We can't be all over the place. So this is what's most important. This is what's on our plate. All right, I'll call you in a minute.